This is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you again for tuning to another segment of INCRadio New York. My name is Brother Lance Marinas, your host for today's episode. And with me on today is Sister Abigail Hildago, where we'll be talking about top tips for better sleep or how to get better sleep for this summer. How are you doing today?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I am doing okay on this lovely Saturday morning. As you can tell, I'm kind of enjoying the weather outside. It's not as hot as as it has been for the past couple of days, so I'm kind of enjoying the weather. Um, how are you, Brother Lance?
I am doing well. But before we do get started, we would like to greet our brethren all over the world. Happy 111th anniversary. So they will be celebrating, at least in the Philippines already, July 27. Here in the States, it's still July 26th, but it is 111th anniversary of the Church of Christ. And yes, Sister Abby, it is very nice lately here in the northeastern area of the of America. We did get a few hot weathers, but it's started to come down now. So it's nice that it's back to like a normal 70-degree weather rather than a super humid, super hot weather where we've been having the last few days. So it's nice to be back in that temperature where you can actually sleep at night and having to crank the AC all the way down. And that's what we're talking about today. Top tips for better sleep in the heat. Long daylight hours and high temp can throw off your sleep. And today's episode is about summer sleep, how to stay cool, stay rested, and reset your rhythm even when the sun is still up at 9 p.m. If you've been tossing, turning, or snoozing, or to your vacation, this one's for you. So for our YouTube live chat, name your best tip for falling asleep faster during hot nights. Especially now, we're kind of getting to August. I'm sure we're gonna get more days where it's in the upper 80s, upper 90s, and it's gonna be hard to stay warm or stay cool at night in this warm weather. So, in our first question, Sister Abby, is how does the extra daylight in the summer affect our natural sleep cycles?
You know, uh, I think having extra light kind of triggers your body. Don't quote me on this. To stay up longer. Like I just know anecdotally, for in the winter time, I tend to go to bed uh, earlier because it's darker earlier. It gets darker earlier here in the Northeast. So around like 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I'm really tired because I think the sunlight the lack of sunlight kind of signals your brain, oh, it's dark time or it's nighttime. You should go to, you know, bed. So I think with a longer daylight, with longer sunlight out there, I think um, we tend to stay up later.
Yeah, especially up here.
Yeah.
I do stand up. I mean, I'm a late owl, so or a night owl, so I don't sleep as early as often. But yeah, in the summertime, since our sunset is around 9 p.m., so it's later, so it does affect our sleeping time. But also, a lot of people do enjoy the longer hours of the summer, since in the winter we do sacrifice the daylight time, since we only have very limited amount of daylight time in the winter. So I guess it is a trade-off. So for those in the summertime, they do people do tend to stay up, and as you mentioned, it does affect our sleeping pattern at the same time. So, but I think you should people should all the more enjoy the summertime, as we can since in the winter time you're always sleepy because the sun sets what 3 4 p.m. sometimes, especially if it's mid January.
Yeah, like, cause with daylight or sunlight or, the light in general, it special it I was just reading that it affects your circadian rhythm, right? Your sleep wake cycle. So, those people who live in like the northern hemisphere, the really southern hemisphere, close to like the North Pole or South Pole, is that they sometimes have days that are like 24 hours of daylight. So in order for their body to get restful sleep, they need to buy those blackout curtains so that they can tell their body to or their mind that it's time to go to bed, even though it's daylight outside. Or like with in the winter time, you have 24 hours of darkness. So some people need those what do they call it? The UV lamps to kind of help with their sleep wake cycle, or else you feel like tired or whatnot. So it's kind of interesting how the sunlight can affect our sleep.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So moving on, what temperature should we aim for in the bedroom, and how can we cool it down?
I
Or
feel like I think it's a cooler temperature, right?
yeah,
Uh yeah,
but
you don't
I
want to
think
be too hot. I don't know. Do you like being cold when you're sleeping, Brother Lance?
I do because I sleep with a sleeping bag.
Oh, what? Wait, don't
I
you
don't,
just oh,
yeah, I don't sleep with
okay.
normal blankets. I sleep with sleeping bags. I mean, they're light sleeping bag. They're not like
Okay.
they're not the heavy winter or like the heavy outdoor
Okay.
ones. I don't like my feet getting cold. That's why I like sleeping with a sleeping bag because it has a zipper on the bottom, and you can zip all the way your feet all the way to your thighs. So with the blanket, you're constantly having to fight with your feet getting out.
Yeah, I mean, I was on online per my quick research. The optimum temperature is individual. Some people like colder, some people like warmer, but the average temperature or the recommended temperature is between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. And I guess depend on your age group, it varies. Older people, the elderly, they probably would like warmer temperatures because, they don't have as much fat on their bodies to keep themselves warm. And again, also your personal preference. Um, I think I'm okay with sleeping in warmer temperatures, but in the summertime, to cool down your house, you have fans or the AC unit or whatnot, and that costs money and electricity.
When you're kids, you don't what do
you
you call
know
this? You don't you don't care much about. You just want cool air. But as you get towards adult, you start understanding how bills works.
Yes,
You try to keep the AC at a certain temperature, or just enough to cool you down, and not like fully
correct.
blasting it, because it does get expensive. But there are ways, especially with Sister Abby. You can cool it down by turning on your AC. Some tips that they said is or at least what we like to do in the house is turn the AC on at night so it doesn't work as hard. Then in the
Mhm.
morning it stays cool throughout the day. Then we'll kick the AC on again later at the nighttime because with the sun and the heat, the everything around the AC system, it tends to heat up a lot quicker when there's sunlight and there's upper temperature and the hotter temperatures around it. So at nighttime, at least the AC is working around a cooler temperature and less sunshade also. So that's what we like to do, so to just keep the bills low.
Yeah. I mean, with smart devices too, I don't know if you have this in your homes, but there's like certain smart home devices that you I connect my, I don't know if this is good, but thinking about it, to like save money on electricity or whatnot, that it says if it's going to be a rush hour, they call it, or a lot of people are going to use their AC. Um, a lot, or there's a lot of electricity load on on the grid. It actually kind of cools your house before I guess the spike happens, and it kind of adjusts the temperature based on your preference, and also like how the weather is, so you have like, if you have your your smart home devices, you can also change the temperature to cool down your home before you get home, so you won't be like sweating, I guess, when you're just getting home.
Yes, exactly. And I think there's also ways that electricity works. I think there's less charge in certain hours and throughout the day than it is
Hmm.
through. So for those who knows electricity bills more often, or those who work in the billing cycles of electricity, let us know what is
Yeah.
the cheapest time to turn on your AC or to cool down yourself in the daytime or the nighttime. Next
But
question is, yes, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What's the question?
What are your best tips for falling asleep faster during hot nights?
I I, I don't know. I think I try to wear very light clothing. Like light, like a light t-shirt or light pants or shorts, so that I'm not like too layered. And then, unlike Brother Lance, I don't have a sleeping bag. I have a comforter and or like a light blanket or something. Um, And I guess if it's really hot, I know like in the Philippines, I remember I would take like a really cold shower before I go to bed. Because you're also sweating all day. So I felt kind of like I need to, wash, take a shower or a bath, and I usually it's like cold water just to kind of cool my body temperature.
Yeah, I do the same. I think when we were in the Philippines during the summertime, I took like 3 showers a day because it's so hot. And then the nighttime, like I would have to take a shower because you're sweating throughout the day, and it's the only way to really cool it down. We do like to turn. I'm not a big fan person, so I don't really like to turn that on either. I don't like the
Oh,
I don't like the blowing of the air to myself.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I personally don't like having a fan blowing on me. But I do have in my parents' home, they have a ceiling fan which, like circulates the air, but it's not like strong enough that I feel the breeze, but it's enough to keep the room cool. I know
Yeah.
there's like certain ways that the the fan needs to spin to either bring the hot air out or like push cold air down or something like that. I know
Yeah, I
there's like
think
yeah.
there's I think it goes one way or the other. Just a whole fancy switch to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to, I guess, don't wear as much clothing as mentioned as during the summertime, since it's or try to wear light clothing. I think silk is a nice fabric to, or like light
Mhm.
cotton also is a nice fabric to sleep during the nighttime. And I think cooling materials also to sleep. You don't want to wear wool.
Yeah, and I think there's like I don't know if you would feel comfortable wearing this, but I know there's like the self-wicking clothing that like wicks the sweat off of you, which keeps you cooler when you use like when you exercise, there's like certain material that's like that wicks away the sweat to cool you down. So you can try that. Or like, just find, I guess we all know what we are comfortable sleeping with, or sleep, I just like wearing a t-shirt and shorts on hot days. That's what I usually wear to bed.
Yeah. I think there's also like cooling blankets. So if you
Mm,
really want to stay cool, because I think I tried it once and it's pretty nice. It's quite heavy, but it does really cool. It does really cool your body. The temperature of the blanket doesn't heat up at all. It stays a certain temperature throughout the whole night, and so it's quite nice. Um, I'm not sure what the exact science behind it, but yeah. Next question is, how does screen time mess with sleep, especially in the evening?
Um, I feel like it's part of like your sleep hygiene. I think we had the discussion on a previous episode about like having good sleep hygiene. So I think if you're having trouble going to bed or sleeping, you want to limit your screen time. Because even like because it kind of keeps your mind awake. You know, you're reading stuff or you're looking, even though it's like you think it's mindless, your brain is still thinking or still active. And I think we also, I think we when we talked had Sister Gemma on the show, she talked about like the blue light
Hmm.
from the screens could also affect your sleep. I don't know, I don't recall what she explained about how the blue light kind of affects how your mind works. But it's kind of like they said, like the light or the blue light and from your screen
Yeah,
could affect how you sleep.
yeah. I also heard that you should like wane off at least 2 hours, like your targeted sleep time with the phones and
Mm-hmm.
anything devices, because again, the blue light does affect your melatonin level in terms of sleeping. So the blue light affects all your sleeping pattern also. So like if your sleeping time is 10 p.m. and you're on your phone at 10 p.m., you're more likely to be in bed by like midnight or so until you get off your phone. So for those who are, although it's nice to have your phone next to you, as much as possible, try to avoid using it at night. As we mentioned, it does affect your sleeping pattern. So if your sleeping time is 10 p.m. or midnight, try to be off your phone by 8 8 p.m., 7 p.m. It's also a good way to just relax your mind and not to be constantly hooked into your phone or constantly looking at your screen. So it's also ease rest your eyes a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's like when I was younger, you I would sometimes read a book before I would go to bed, but then when you get to a good part, you're like, "Oh, I want to finish this and I want to finish this," even though you're like physically tired and you should go to bed, but you when you get into it or you get really interested in the book you're reading or whatever, it forces you to stay up. So, and also when you're on your screen or you're on your phone, you praise like, oh, just one more episode. Like, oh, let me just look at this one. So I think it just because you get interested in something, it kind of forces you to stay up and you can't like quiet your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Especially those people who like K dramas. I know when you start one off, and like K dramas episodes are like hour long, and like it tends to
Hmm.
leave it in a cliffhanger. So you're constantly on the hook to like keep finishing that episode, and next thing you know, you're up until 8 a.m. So yeah, be careful with how you use the screen time. Also, our next question is: how can we people maintain a consistent sleep schedule when traveling or during holiday events? It's very hard to maintain a sleeping schedule during holiday or while traveling, huh?
I think it is because I don't know, like I just want to see and do everything. But you can't if you are always running on empty, you'll eventually get so tired that you can't even function anymore. Uh, so I think it's like really, if you want to be consistent with your sleep schedule, like follow your what they call sleep hygiene, right? So like 2 hours, like we mentioned before, we go to bed, whatever time it may be, start to like wind down, like do your skincare routine or turn off your devices or read a book or do stretches or if you do exercises before you go to bed or like stuff to like kind of relax you so that if you're traveling or having those holiday activities, at least your body will have that routine that okay, when I start this, then it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's hard to maintain it at the same time, but I guess just get your good 6 to 8 hours sleep. Like, it is the best tip, I guess. Since especially if you're on a vacation, you're on a different time zone or a different schedule,
Hmm.
unless you're staying in the same coast or same time zone. But it's hard because you want to do a lot of things, especially if it's a short vacation days. You're trying to fit in so many things throughout the whole day to maximize your time there, and your also your vacation time at the same time while you are there. So it's hard, at least for me, it's hard to maintain a sleeping pattern on the same schedule. But what I just try to do is at least keep that 6 to 8 hour of sleeping time, just to make sure that I do get enough rest and enough to tackle the next day. And I guess, how is it important to wake up at the same time daily, even on vacation? Is it very important, Sister Abby?
I think it's important, having a regular sleep schedule, can, keep you in good physical and mental health. And also helps keep your natural body sleep wake cycle like regular. And then you can also have improved sleep, if you have a consistent schedule. Because, if you have varying schedules, you always feel more tired, right? If you go to bed, uh, like at 11 o'clock or midnight, and then you only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, then you go to bed at 8, it's kind of irregular. And I think we had this conversation with Brother Cliff on one of our shows, that you never catch up on sleep. Once you are not, once you have lack of sleep or you only have 5 hours, that's it. So you have to make sure, if sleep is your priority, or if you're able to really give importance on your sleeping schedule, so that you always will feel well rested to do whatever you need to do the next day, like, church, your duties, work, school, so that um, you'll be like not so tired and won't
Yes.
fall asleep when you're driving, right?
Yeah. You don't want to be on autopilot while you're driving.
Mhm.
As much as you think it's easy to just drive while you're asleep, at the same time you're not fully alert, or you're not alert enough to react to certain objects or certain people driving at the same time as you are. So better to get your sleep, get enough sleep throughout the whole night. As mentioned by Sister Abby, or if you need to take naps throughout the day, also take naps if you need it. If you can't fit in that full 8 hours, try to fit in more schedule of naps throughout the day, just to get your body to have the energy that you need to function properly. Don't take, but don't take the whole hour nap. Well, I take a whole hour nap, so it's hard. As much as they recommend, I think they recommend what, 15 to 20 minutes tops.
Yeah, because it's your sleep cycle. When you get to like your REM sleep and or your deep sleep or whatnot, so that's why sometimes if you sleep too long, you actually feel more tired, because it depends on your sleep cycle when you wake up during the sleep cycle.
Yes, exactly. So for everyone, just try to maintain a sleeping pattern that works out the best for you. And our last question is, what are your favorite calming or bedtime routine?
I mean, what do I do? I usually like do my skincare, wash my face, and or I take a shower or whatnot, and then sometimes I just lie in bed just to kind of like just not think about anything, you know, just to, you know, release anything that I did throughout the day, like any worries or um stress that I had to deal with. Like, I just try to empty my brain so that I don't think about it when I go to bed, or, I just don't think about it anymore. And also, always pray, that you thank God for blessing you with another day and keep us safe as we sleep, so that we can, continue on serving our Almighty God. So
Yes,
I think that's the
exactly.
kind of like my sleeping routine.
Yeah, for me, I have to get through my oral hygiene first to get to sleeping routine, because I do have to wear brace, like aligners, for Invisalign aligners.
Oh,
So I have to
yes.
get in a rhythm of cleaning that up, flossing properly, and brushing your teeth properly. Because you don't want any junk in your teeth before you put the aligners on, or else it can damage your teeth throughout the whole year. The more often you wear it. Then afterwards, I do tend to turn on a podcast and set my phone to kill that podcast after an hour.
Mhm.
So that's at least for me. I do like background noises before I do sleep. I don't like the complete silence.
Oh, I mean, some people need the background noise or the white
Yeah.
noise, like like waves on the beach or like just whatnot to help them sleep.
Yes, exactly. And as mentioned by Sister Abby, yeah, better. It's always good to pray before we do sleep. To make sure we thank our Almighty God and also reflect on the things that He has given out on us. And that pretty much wraps up our episode today. Anything else, Sister Abby, that you want to add? Let's see, on
No,
YouTube
just
live chat.
again, happy anniversary to the church and to everyone that are celebrating, and I hope everyone has a blessed and spiritual worship service.
There's a couple tips here before we do end. Brother Reynaldo Valdez Sr. said, if your bedroom is upstairs, consider moving to a lower floor or basement for cooler air. Heat naturally arises. It is a good top tip.
It
Your
is.
basement is a lot colder and it does stay. If you have a finished basement, not everyone has a finished basement. So unless you have a
Yeah.
really clean basement, then maybe you can set up a tent or like a camp outdoor.
Again. Yeah, yeah.
But it's warmer. Sister Perlita Sanson said, be sure that you're not hungry before bedtime because this will wake you up in the middle of your sleep. But also don't eat too much before you do go to bed. I believe it causes like some sort of acid reflux, right, Sister Abby?
Yep. Yes, yes. So try like a light snack, or um, time your dinner so that it won't be too early, so you won't get hungry in the middle of the night.
And I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, it's time to close out. I'll close it out, Sister Abby. This is all for our show today. Again, thank you again for tuning to another segment of the INCRadio New York, and thank you so much for the church administration for giving us platform to share and speak about important and interesting topics like these. And don't forget to catch us again next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and Sunday at 11:30 p.m. Philippine times. And greetings to our beloved Executive Minister Brother Eduardo B. Manalo, and our current Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo. And also greetings to our INC Station Manager, Brother Wally Tarai, and our Executive Producer, Kuya Manley Andaya, and also especially to our District Minister, Brother Sheridan Santos, to our Assistant District Minister, Brother Neil Patrick Almeda, and to our CFO Advisor, Brother Jason Flores, and lastly to our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Christopher Nedo. And this brings us to the end of our show today. Have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Happy 111.